This week on the show, we have Shaine Smith, dedicated Metal Gear historian and lore translator.
My husband, he loves Gundam. So, and I'm talking like just loves Gundam. He got me...
is he excited for the movie?
You have no idea. He lost his damn mind. He was actually underway when the news came out, and he came home, and he's like, "Did you see?" And I was like, "Yes, I saw." I follow Jordan on Twitter. Of course I saw. And so the last date we went on in Japan was at the Gundam Cafe in Akihabara. They have an entire cafe for Gundam. They have multiple in Japan, right? But the closest one was in Akihabara, and I surprised him with it. I got a babysitter. I was like, "Get on the train. Just shut your eyes when we get to Akihabara. I will lead you out of the station." And he had his nice little Haro cappuccino, and I forget what he ordered. I think I had like the Amu rice that they drew a Gundam on it. It was really, really cute.
Oh, that's awesome.
I took a picture of him in front of this cardboard cutout of Char Aznable, which is his favorite. It was awesome.
Not all those cafes are permanent, though, are they? Was this a permanent one?
This was a permanent one, and it's right next to the AKB48 cafe as well.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, I think I know where you're talking about, actually.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of the one...
I've never been there, but I've seen, like, enough pictures that I feel like I can navigate it.
It's been there for a long time, and that one and the one in Odaiba, which is where the life-size Gundam is.
Yeah, that's on my bucket list.
We're trying to go back to Japan. Like, we want to go back really, really badly. It's pretty much up to the Navy, right, where we go. So, yeah. Because right now they have a Gundam built that moves and everything, and it's awesome. And but they're taking it down in like 2 years. So
no,
we're on the clock.
No,
yes.
Why? It's amazing. No, I didn't know that. Now I'm angry because I've only got 2 years to get to Japan.
Yeah, it's gonna be gone in 2 years. It's generating a lot of money right now, though. What is it? I think you pay $30 just to go to like the they call it the landing dock, right? You get to stay.
Yeah, I guess, but you could probably see that thing from like a mile away.
Oh, it's huge! It's huge, and they built a Gundam cafe right next to it, so you can like sit on the terrace right on the water and just see this Gundam move. It's beautiful.
Why would you put all that effort in and then just tear it down a few years later?
It's a lot of money to upkeep.
I guess.
You sound so sad.
I am sad. I gotta go now.
He's
like, now I'm on a deadline. Thank you.
Guys, yeah, sorry.
Hey, I'm Fingers.
Hey everyone, this is Days Ahead.
And I'm Nitroid. You're listening to the Kojima Frequency. Were you there when they had the Metal Gear escape room?
No,
thing?
That was right after we left. Like right after we left.
That blows.
And I was pissed. I was so livid.
And they only had it for like 3 months, and then it was gone.
it was a pop-up shop type thing. Yeah. And I remember seeing it online like really right after we leave. I'm sitting in Monterey, which is like the most expensive place to live in California. Like seething.
Yeah, the closest I'm ever going to get to that is like Super Bunny Hop's video.
Super Bunny? Oh, yeah.
It's like a $10,000 trip, though.
It is. It's really expensive.
Yeah. If you want to do it right. Man, I wish I could just spend like 2 weeks there, really just like... I feel like a week, I'm going to get there, we're going to do stuff, and then it's going to be over before we've even started. But if I had like 2 weeks, I could really ingest it.
Bro, after the last like 2 weeks, you need to be there for like the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Hiding.
Oh, God, yeah, seriously.
So, Metal Gear Solid 5 comes out when we were living there. My son was like, oh God, how old was my son? He was like 5 months old, right? So, the Metal Gear Solid 5 comes out. I remember we just went to the Next, which is like Navy Walmart, right? And picked up an American copy. And like, I'll forever remember like the smell of the air because we had opened the back doors, let the air in because it was hot. And we turned off all the lights and we popped that game in for the first time. And it's just like, I'll never get to play it for the first time ever again. And then there's this old game shop at this mall called Dae Mall that's like right outside the base. And it's like this super old 80s, 90s game shop, Japanese games. And they had the MSX cartridges for Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2.
Sweet.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
What's funny
And
is they're just as expensive over in Japan as they are here. Those things are rare.
They were. I'm talking like big buco bucks. I regret it every damn day I didn't pick them up, but they were so expensive. I'm talking, it was like 10,000 yen a cartridge. It was $100.
Yeah.
It
I had a
was-
guy that I got in touch with once, and he was a rare collector, and had a bunch of contacts all over Japan. And I had an opportunity to buy a sealed copy of Metal Gear 2.
Oh my god.
He wanted roughly about 15,000 yen for it.
Yeah, that's 15,000. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about how it goes. Because when you go down to Akihabara as well, which is also called the Electric City, right? This is where like the start of electronics in Japan started, was Akihabara, and it just turned into Otaku Town. Which it's actually like downplays Akihabara, because you see so many awesome things in Akihabara, just like the latest technology, gadgets, all that stuff, and they have a shit ton of old video game stores. This is where you would find your like creepypasta games. Because I'm not even shitting you, because people will mod their old games, and you can walk into any goddamn game store in Akihabara and be like, I want to sell this game. They don't even look at it twice. They buy it back from you and they put it in a bin, and then you get a Japanese creepypasta game out of a Akihabara shop.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and so like there was this one, I don't remember the name of it, but like it was kind of like Spencer's. You know how they got the good shit in the back? So it's like you would walk into this
porn. Just kidding.
Right? Like you would walk straight to the back. I'm talking like old like Amiga, MSX, super old Dreamcast, PS1, like just straight up like really old games, and they were all so expensive. And I miss it every damn day. I wish, like, I have a N64 I picked up from Japan. So I have a Japanese N64 and a whole bunch of Japanese N64 games. I think we have Japanese Banjo-Kazooie that my kids love to play, and Animal Crossing, Debotu no Mori.
So what got you into the Japanese language? I mean, was that just like a result of you moving there, or was that something you were interested prior to moving there?
It was definitely something I was interested in prior. Like when I was in high school, again, I grew up in like, I'm talking the boonies, Midwest America, where
I got you.
And
know what you're talking about.
There was like, it was a history lesson. I was in like 7th grade, and they were talking about Japan. I thought it was the most beautiful country I've ever seen in my life. And from then I would just like collect books, and I had undiagnosed autism. You'll love to see it. And I just hyperfixated on Japan for like 3 years straight. And I was self-taught, and like I'm talking like the most basic Japanese ever. Like I could say super basic phrases, and that was pretty much it. I wasn't really good at retaining the language, and I had nobody to practice on. I just was reading books and like watching anime, as you do. And then I meet my husband, which was a story in itself. Let's just say we met on Xbox Live, and
nice.
We were playing Left 4 Dead 2 together, or we were playing Left 4 Dead together, and we met in like it was like, you know how you just join random ass like lobbies? He was in a lobby. Like I wasn't friends with any of his friends. We just random lobby, and we played like 50 games together. And then come to find out, he lived like 30 minutes away from me. And
whoa.
Yeah, so here we are, 2 kids in.
Do you think love can bloom even on a battlefield?
Yeah, I do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Aww.
Is that like how that game does like matchmaking though? Is it like proximity based?
It seems like that way, right? Like it seemed too convenient. But maybe it is proximity, because he really was only 30 minutes away from me living.
Shout out Left 4 Dead.
Yeah. Love to see it, Left 4 Dead. But he had come down. He had driven down to like take me on a date to Buffalo Wild Wings. I know. So for me, that was fancy.
Hey, that Buffalo Wild Wings is awesome.
I had never had a man take me out on a date before. He let me get like a 30-piece wing that we shared, and I ate like 15 of them.
Nice.
You know, I just straight up cleaned up half. And he tells me like right then and there, like, oh, I'm an officer in the Navy, and I'm going to Japan in like a month. So I wanted to take you out. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, you're paying for my meal. This is awesome. And then a year goes by. He's in Japan, and he calls me one day. He's like, I can't take this anymore. And I'm like, oh, he's breaking up with me. Long distance relationship sucks. And he's like, I just gave you $600. I wired you $600. Go get your passport. I'm flying you out to
Bruh.
Japan. I can't take it anymore. And so, yeah. And so literally right after I got off the Skype call with him, I went and got my passport. A week later, the passport comes in. 3 days after that, I'm on a plane to Japan. And
that is amazing.
The rest is history. I learned a lot of my Japanese by living in Japan, which is, I can say, by doing literally everything beforehand. I had a tutor. I tried doing self-teaching. I tried doing, like, I paid for, like, an online course for, like, a couple months. Didn't do anything for me other than, like, learning a few new phrases. Being in Japan, talking to Japanese people, and being in the culture is probably the best teacher you could have.
Yeah, just kind of diving in.
Yeah.
Right.
And I learned a lot. And it was probably it was the best experience of my life. It was on my bucket list for so long just to be in Japan. And not only that, I learned a good chunk of the language. I got married. I have a Japanese marriage registration that I had to get translated because we got married at the Yokosuka City Hall, and I had my children there. And yeah, it was a dream come true.
Aww.
So
that's the best story I've heard in a while.
Yeah, stop giving us optimism. This is whack.
I'm used to being upset. Like, that's my normal.
This show is about being miserable and talking about remake rumors.
Especially over the past 2 weeks. Jesus Christ.
So you're using that knowledge in Japanese to translate some of the MGS novels, right?
Yeah, so I made it, like, abundantly clear on the Twitter. Like, do not quote my translations for anything credible until we get, like, a actual credible licensed translation. I'm doing this completely for free, and I post it one chapter at a time because it is a lot of work. I have the book right here. It's 600 pages, and it's in bunkoban format, which is, like, the really small book, right? So it's, like, super compact. The way I do it is I will open up one page and I'll take a picture of it. And I go literally hiragana, katakana, kanji, like character by character. And I have to, like, do it because when with one character it, like, complements the other, and, like, you have to, like, it's not like you can say one character in Japanese and think that that's the word, because in Japanese is very, like, contextual. So you have to, like, read it all as is. So a lot of the time, like, if it's kanji that I don't understand, I have to put it in, like, this translation. So I put it in literally, like, Google Translate and, like, have to interpret it with the rest of the sentence so it doesn't sound too literal. So I do a lot of, like, contextual edits that way. And it's a slog. It's literally, it's as hard as it sounds, where it sounds like I'm just taking pictures and just, like, posting it as I see it, when I literally sit here for hours and, like, have to reread a sentence and make sure that it's right.
Yeah, try to extract the true meaning out of what it's trying to say.
Yeah, because again, a lot of Japanese is contextual. Like, it's a very, don't want to put it to another language, but, like, you know how, like, a lot of Italians use their hands to speak, or because, you know, they really want to push forward what they want to say. It's the same with Japanese. A lot of, like, eye contact, a lot of hand movements, a lot of, like, you need to, like, say it in context with, like, either the previous or the oncoming sentence.
Eye contact.
Yeah. But that's what I'm trying to say. So it's, like, it's really hard when it's, like, when kanji comes up and it's like, well, I don't know what that means, and, like, this sentence is trying to go this way, but this kanji can literally mean, like, anything, and this could, like, turn the sentence this way. And so,
and there are situations where they'll use certain words or kanji that have more than one meaning, and there's a play on words there, so it's not always easily translatable, right?
It's true. And actually a lot of kanji and a lot of even just the straight up hiragana has furigana, which is, like, the tiny little, like, words on the side of the hiragana or the kanji that kind of explains what it is when you say it literally from the furigana. And so that helps a lot, because it's like, okay, well, I can take it contextually from, like, what it's trying to tell me here. It's still hard. That's why I took that, like, I'm sure you guys all saw, I took, like, 2 months off because I was burnt the hell out. And chapter 4 was, like, looming over me. Chapter 4 was 30 pages long. I had just posted it yesterday.
Yeah, I was reading through that this week or earlier today.
Yeah, it was so, I just posted a chapter today. And It was so long. That took me days to do.
So, like, what's like your favorite thing that you've sort of discovered through this process as you're going through the books and sort of taking them apart?
Yeah, because the books are definitely different than the games.
Oh, it adds so much more context in the books.
And sometimes just extra bullshit that's not canon at all. So it's just like, all right, cool.
Yeah, it's definitely
Looking at you, Raymond Benson.
Yeah, oh, don't get me started. I'm actually gonna tear into him if you let me. But it was definitely in the Metal Gear Solid 5 novel, I was going through like random pages and just translating pages, right? Because that's easy. And I found the chapter where, come to find out, Eli was raised in a lab and Eva was there helping raise him. And that's coming later in the novel. So that was insane.
That was just a random page that you landed
That was
on.
just a
I mean,
random.
he does
I
kind of
was,
strike me as a kid who was raised in a small room.
yeah, it was like explained that Eli was happy where he was because that's all he knew was like white walls and a lab, and he was like being experimented on, and he was like being trained to do like certain military stuff in this all white lab, and there's like a certain scientist. I want to say it's paramedic, like Dr. Clark, right? But like they never explain who this scientist is. Just straight up one day says like, "Oh, you're a clone." Just straight up to Eli. "Oh, you're a clone." And then Eva comes in and like just goes the fuck off on this scientist. Like, why would you say that? He's a person. But after that moment, Eli just changes, and that's explored in the book.
It's a lot to take in.
It's like Rick and Morty. You pass the butter. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's literally what happened to Eli. You pass butter, and he just takes over. That's pretty much takes over a small boy unit in Africa after that.
Right. He just becomes like a small level warmonger after that.
Also,
just Eli things.
Oh yeah, just
Eli things.
Sociopathic clone Eli things. They also extrapolate more on the tapes, right? So a lot of the tapes that are some of the tapes are explored in the novel. One of them that I found today actually was the one where is the tape where they're interrogating Huey, and they're talking about like, "You got a son, don't you? Did you put him in Sahelanthropus, you idiot?" And of course he was like, "No, not me," like all that stuff. But in the book, like Ocelot makes him hold his gun and like point it at Ocelot, being like, "Well, you killed Strangelove. You probably killed your son. Wouldn't you kill me?" And that's like where that's where Huey's like, "I'm a normal person. I'm not one of you people." And that's in the book. Like, I was actually telling one of my friends today, like, you can get away with a lot in prose that you can't get away with in a AAA game that is like it's being seen. But when it comes to prose, when it comes to a novel, like you can
that's one of the things with Huey that kind of got lost in the game is that yes, he's an absolute asshole, but he's also kind of right about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like that whole like when he's like, as much as we make fun of the whole like it's not a wolf or it's not a dog, it's a wolf, like that was like a metaphor for like that. It's like that Onion article that's like heartbreak, man you really dislike,
man you hate makes a good
something.
Point.
Man you hate makes a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. It's he was right about a lot of things, but I don't know if we can excuse like murder. Well, when I say murder, obviously like everyone's a murderer in this damn game. But when it comes to like,
we're angrier about like Huey murdering Strangelove than like Big Boss killing
than like having a murder cult.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that in a bit. But what I was trying to hit was Huey is hated because of his deception, only because he was literally one of the scientists that was like, "I will literally sell Big Boss for a fucking corn chip if you will give me a place to work on shit. Like, I will sell out who I have to sell out."
Yeah, he's really self-serving.
Yeah. Whereas the polar opposite, which I love to talk about all the time, Christopher Randolph, I'm shouting you out. He has the same voice for two characters that are like literally polar opposites, where Otacon, who does it for the people, and he's trying to rectify his wrongs because he was used. And then there's Huey, who literally will just metaphorically walk over who he has to
roll over, if you will.
Yeah.
Hey.
To get what he wants. And
it's such a dramatic departure from his character in Peace Walker, who was more or less just Otacon with some extra bits.
That's actually really funny because no, he was technically the same. He was building robots that from plans that he stole from Granin. It wasn't really stealing, but he took credit for it. So
yeah, I guess you're right.
He took what he wanted to get his name out there, or just to
I
get
guess
his research
the
done.
seeds were kind of already there.
I mean, I've always felt like Huey's been more of like a neutrally aligned character in general. Like he's for himself.
When you see it in the way of like Big Boss's cult, yeah, because Big Boss isn't a good guy. His games brainwash you into thinking he's a good guy. But Big Boss is.
But he's the hero of the games. What are you talking about?
Shut your mouth! Like I say that all the time. Every single time I get a Big Boss did nothing wrong. I'm just like, you know what? I ain't
Solidus did nothing wrong.
Nah, I'll get into that in a bit because he was. For Huey, it's God. That actually is weird when I want to like try to polarize it of like, oh yeah, he totally like fucked over Big Boss. He totally fucked over Granin. He stepped on who he had to step on the context of Big Bosses or even Hot Coldman, Zadornov, blah blah blah, whoever you want to talk about. Like, even though Huey stepped over them and Skullface, even though Huey stepped over them to get what he wanted, it's not like these people like were gonna pay it forward to Huey. It was one of those deals where, for all Huey knew, he would have been killed if like stuff got done. Like, look at Shagohod. They would have probably killed.
They fucking pushed him down the stairs.
Oh, he knew he was being used and abused.
Yeah.
So, not to change the subject, but y'all heard about this guy named Tom Olsen?
Man, fuck Tom Olsen.
Yeah, what the fuck's up with him? I can't stand his ass.
We need his name was Thomas Olsen.
Timothy Olsen.
You can't make that the title though, because
in Death, a Konami insider has a name.
Oh my god! And it's Timothy Olsen.
It's Tom.
So yeah, what's up
Timothy
with
Olsen? Yeah, Tom is short for Timothy.
Tom is short for Tom.
It's canon now.
Bro, that's gonna be the biggest disappointment of all this.
So what's up with this Tom guy? Like what?
Okay.
Um,
I'm gonna go into more. Go ahead.
You ever drive a car in the rain?
No, I'm just scared.
Okay, well, you know how shit hydroplanes.
Why are you telling me shit that like scares me?
Because this
I know
scared
exactly
me
what you're talking about.
When you drive and you're in the rain and suddenly you feel like that wheel kind of go a little off.
Oh yeah, we've all been there.
You know that you don't overcorrect, but
you got to steer into it.
I've only had one accident, and that was a hydroplane. But I'm sorry. What I'm trying to say here, this whole situation felt like we took this podcast in a vehicle and drove through a thunderstorm, and now we're at the hydroplaning point.
Not only did we hit the hydroplane, we also hit the fucking pothole that flattened our tire like 2 meters down the road.
We drove into the Konami tsunami.
Konami tsunami.
Konami tsunami. There's our title. Jesus.
Yeah, you guys gotta change your name now.
I suppose I'll get into it a little bit. I can't get entirely into it.
Yeah, basically Nitroid wanted to make like a Twitter account and go for a nice little drive, and then a fucking hurricane came through
and
a
tornado
made us hydroplane fucking everywhere. But
hurricane, oh my god, this was the typhoon.
I just wanted to have fun.
Okay, so I like to preface it like this, and I don't mean to steal your thunder, Nitroid. So if
no,
you
go ahead. I'm still coping.
So it started off as a thought experiment, right? This is something that I've thought about before, and the thought experiment was, if we had the type of social media presence that we have now that we've had in the past, like for instance, if we had Twitter when JFK got shot, if we had more
there'd be no damn conspiracy, that's for sure.
I was about to say there would be no Grassy Knoll. There'd be like 5 cameras on Grassy Knoll, man.
Like, we know who did that shit. I got him in HD.
If there were cell phones like this during 9/11, we would get far more footage, and it would be like, I think it would be very interesting. It's a very interesting concept to think of.
You about to say some bullshit like the Patriots was right or something.
So,
I mean,
with that being said, I don't think Detroit, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the angle that I came into this with, and with that, I'll give the floor to you, man. This is all you.
Take it away, Nitro.
Literally.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it was a couple of things. It's like one, like what you said, where, what if there was more of a media presence? And two, I just thought it would be interesting to like have a normal dude working on the big shell just talking about life there. Because like, literally, I just like how the big shell looks. I think it's cool.
It's a gorgeous location for a video.
Right?
It is.
Like that's the end of my thought process. There was like, this looks really cool, and it would be funny if like a guy who just works there is tweeting about his job before everything crazy starts happening.
I thought it was so funny because like I remember when it went up, and the first thing I thought was, oh, this is Boundary Break. Like that's like the first thing I thought. I was like, some dude's doing some like Boundary Break 2. That's all I thought. And then Metal Gear started talking.
And yeah, and hold on. I for first and foremost, I want this to be added to my contextual explanation, and that is, Nitroid decided to take a fictional twist on this thought experiment by doing that concept, but with the Big Shell incident, the Big Shell event.
Good job, Nitroid.
But yeah, going back, what were we talking about? Oh, Big Shell being beautiful. Yeah, no,
it's a gorgeous location.
God, okay, there's some art history major that's probably like gonna quit watching this show after I make this explanation.
The art hoes are gonna cancel you.
The art hoes are gonna cancel me, devoured by my own.
It'd be your own art hose.
But what was I gonna say? Oh, right. I have this very like somewhat modern take on retrofuturism. Like shit like Star Trek. I'm not a Trekkie, but I love Star Trek The Next Generation for its aesthetics. Like it's futuristic.
Oh yeah.
But it's still like constrained.
It's of the times.
Limitations of the times. And that's kind of what I see with Big Shell. Like it's this holistic concept, this amazing concept, this futuristic concept that is built off of this PlayStation 2 engine. And I don't know.
Not only that, but like the technology that they tried to like implement literally translated to like late 90s, early 2000s technology. Like it tried to be something that was like so high tech that by the time we did get to the year that, Big Shell incident happened, what was that, 2009?
Yeah.
Yeah, by the time we actually got to 2009, like, you go back and play the game, it's like, we've been having that. Like, they try to make it look so upscale of, like, what the technology would be on Big Shell, where they're trying to cover up Arsenal and make it look like this oil cleanup gig. But then it's like, by the time we actually get to real life 2009, it's like, y'all got Nokias in this game? We got iPhone. Like, where's the iPhone?
Right, exactly, precisely.
But that's the retrofuturism where it's like, that's when I think of retrofuturism, I think of like, this is something that wants to be ahead of its time within its time. And it looks...
And I love designs like that. I really do.
I think Aliens does it really well.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's the thing, like, you've been doing a really good job of, like, exploring all the different, like, parts of the architecture and, like, oh, check out this room here. And, like, oh, did you ever notice this doorway here? Like, just that leads down. And you've been, like, doing it and, like, staying in character where it's been, like, very convincing for people to not necessarily know that it's you doing it.
Yeah,
and, like, I am committed to the bit. So, like, I can't just say, hey, guys, let's take a break for a second. Like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I remember there was one time when I was like, dude, you really evoke the energy of a middle-aged guy in a well-paying job.
Yeah.
And you're like,
When you responded-
well, I've got a lot of experience.
No, when you responded to me, there was this one tweet I made for on Tom Olsen. It was actually my favorite one you did when you were out on the deck, and you even had like another woman character there on the strut, right? And I was like, oh, don't pollute, don't throw stuff in the ocean. And you were like, oh my god, what did you say? You were like
that'd be ironic.
no, you'd be like, discard the thought. And I'd be like, hello?
Oh, perish the thought.
Perish
yeah.
the thought. I would never pollute. I literally remember like laying in bed seeing that tweet like, hello? Perish the thought. Oh, I loved it, by the way. That was iconic.
I'm glad. And like that's the whole point, is I just wanted to have fun with it, and everybody kind of lost
again,
their
I was
minds.
having so much fun.
We were driving into that tsunami.
Yeah,
you know?
and so we're at the swell, right? Because at this point, I'm dumb. I'm looking at this like, oh, what fun game sharking. This person is having fun. At the time, I didn't even know it was you. I learned later. And then here it comes. Metal Gear says something. Metal Gear is just like, oh, trying to have fun with you. Like, oh, we told you, like, get those reports ready.
Yeah, they're just playing along.
They fucked around, and we fucking found out.
That's the thing. When you see like a big official account like that, like tweet something, like there's that many people seeing it. So you got to realize there's a certain percentage of people that are like, oh yeah, they're just having a good time messing around. Then there's people that are like, does this mean something?
And unfortunately, the people who think it means something outnumber everybody else.
And then there's the other percentage of people that think, oh, can we make money off of this?
Yeah.
Can I get some clicks off this bitch?
And I was literally saying it earlier. I was like, yeah, within the day, bam, 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 rumor. And yeah, you were printing money for them because they put ads on their website.
Yeah, I'm not getting paid for this.
Yeah, they literally would put up an article. There would be like 5 ads on that website. And
fucking
you just
YouTube
printed
videos.
money. Oh yeah, don't get me started.
We have a YouTube playlist that we're just adding like
Are you
videos
kidding
we
me?
find. Of course, they're all exactly 10 minutes and 3 seconds.
You need to send me this playlist. I saw one video that had like 5 ads on it.
There are a total of 20 videos in the Tom Olsen playlist right now.
Oh my god.
And that, never mind the articles. I mean, Game Rant is all in on the Tom Olsen economy.
Oh, they're getting
have
paid.
5 articles by 5 different authors.
They're getting paid. How's it feel?
Ridiculous.
You paid for like all of their dinners. That was their paycheck for the month.
Yeah, I guess.
You fed so many game journalists this week.
You know what's funny? I'm gonna give the world an idea for free because I've been hanging on to this for the past 15 years and I've never done anything with it. And so if somebody wants to take this idea and make it real, go ahead. But I can tell you where Tom Olsen came from. Okay? Like what the core of the idea was. Years and years and years back, I had a really funny cosplay idea. Or at least what I thought was a funny cosplay idea. Which was the janitor for Umbrella Corporation.
Oh my god.
Where, imagine his key ring on his belt. It's like fucking crests and like jewels and like a giant ass pirate wheel, you know?
It's got a spade and a diamond.
Yeah.
Is this the itchy tasty guy or is this another dude?
This would just be like the janitor. Like, he's not even fazed by the zombies. They don't even try to attack him. He just kind of goes around him with his broom, you know? He's got to like go through his keychain. He's like, all right, I need like the red jewel and the blue jewel if I'm gonna
This
get in
reminds
this
me of,
door. Like, he's just fed up with it.
Yeah.
40-pound key ring. And like, that's always been hilarious to me. But I thought, like, what would happen if you had like the janitor of the big shell?
Yeah.
Because like every building's got a janitor, right? And I was like, well, maybe he's like a maintenance tech or something.
He's
and
the
I just
cleaner.
started like,
Dude, this is what you should have been the tagline for your thing. Who cleans the cleaner?
right?
Tom Olsen.
Yeah, and like he's completely oblivious, right?
That's
Like he's
what
just
makes
trying
it
to do his
funny.
part.
He's literally getting paid to
Yeah,
like
he's an innocent.
innocent little guy.
And that's like why he's not getting in trouble, right? Like he's like
Loves
one of
his
the
wife.
Yeah, he's like one of the few people there who doesn't know what the fuck's going
It's
on.
pretty much a situation. He's in a well-placed situation where if they killed him for knowing too much, if he knew too much, he wouldn't know enough context to get it.
Okay.
And if they killed him, it would make more noise than, just letting him live.
Exactly. There's an old Bill Murray movie called The Man Who Knew Too Little. Have you ever seen it?
I've never seen it.
No.
It's a great movie. And basically, he's a guy on vacation who his brother signs him up for like a spy fantasy real life sort of thing where they take him and they like he's on vacation in London and they make him go through like a fake spy scenario so he gets to feel like a hero, right?
Yeah.
But he accidentally stumbles into like a real espionage situation, but he thinks it's fake the whole time through it.
That sounds fucking hilarious.
It's great. I love this movie. And like there's a little bit of that in this. So like it's just like little things here and there that I don't want to blow it up because I'm really not thinking that hard about it. I'm just having fun with it.
How does it feel to know that you created like the greatest comedy of all time, like on Twitter right now? I'm talking. This is like the grand opera. People are getting paid.
It would be great if people would stop saying really, really awful things to me because they're mad that it's not a real official thing when they find out.
Here's another thing that's like fair about it is that we Googled it like later on, Tom Olsen, and like the first result said like Tom Olsen, but because like the official Metal Gear Twitter retweeted it, like it says like something Konami official. So I can kind of see if people like, I can see if like your normal person like jumped in, like saw the Tom Olsen headline, was like, oh, that might be bullshit, but then looked it up and saw Google, like I can see the person who does that would do that.
And
but
I
people who like their job is to be like accurate and stuff like that is like,
this is where I start getting like nerdy annoying because like I actually like made this joke like Nitroid literally relived Metal Gear Solid 2 in this past couple of weeks.
That okay. Yo, I was actually gonna get into that point.
People are putting out information so fast because they want to be first that fact checking took a back.
Precisely.
And I gotta be clear about something, just real quick. I have been trying to like turn down the volume on this a bit. So I was deleting some posts and just like that's why I made the I don't work for Konami statement, but that had the opposite effect, which is kind of bizarre.
People thought you were covering stuff up.
Right, like, oh, that's what a Konami rep would say.
Like the only person who still likes Konami is somebody who would work at Konami. Like it was like it was
literally
exactly,
it was the perfect recipe. Like, oh, we had somebody that was there.
The irony.
Yeah.
But that's why I was deleting stuff because I was just trying to like bring the volume down. Like I don't want this pointed at me right now, especially with some of the comments I've been getting.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's just this like ravenous like want for a Metal Gear something
It's
in a
huge.
Metal Gear
It's
remake
huge.
or a
Most
Metal Gear
definitely.
reboot, and like you've created this convincing, like some people have kind of called it like an ARG, you know, where it's just like holy shit, you know, and like people are just excited because of all, you know, there's been the movie talk over the past year.
It's
you know,
literally
there's been-
so ravenous.
This is like the 7th or 8th remake or reboot cycle that we've had, you know, in the past year. So it's just like, here we go again.
Oh shit, here we go again.
But this time it's actually something cool and you're making like interesting content.
I read some really high praise from somebody in our Discord who called it a postmodern ARG because it's an ARG that's not an ARG.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's nice.
How did you pull that off?
it honestly seems like a comedy. It feels like a comedy.
No,
In fact,
it's perfect because the right people were in the right place at the right time. It was literally.
And that's the thing. Like we've let like the people in the Discord like that we're in, you know, just we're like, hey, this is what's up, kind of, and like you know they've kind of all been laughing along with it, but we've been telling them like, hey, keep it kind of
You
hush
got a lot of
hush.
people in
But
your
then,
Discord,
like,
right?
just the people that don't. It's like you know if you know you know, but like these outsiders that are just seeing it are like, holy shit, does this mean something? And you know people are just kind of running with it.
Yeah, and I'm going to address it.
meanwhile, I'm in the group chat like, oh, do a tweet about the cafeteria.
Sure shit, there comes the
Take a
cafeteria
picture of the
tweet.
pantry. You always gotta talk about food.
And I am gonna come out and like explain all of this properly. I'm just like, but I gotta get there.
Yeah.
So this is where I ask, do you guys have a lot of people in your Discord? Like a lot of people just chilling in your Discord?
Yeah, decent amount.
So this is the best kept secret. This was literally the best kept secret because if these journalists that are literally getting paid off of all these ads, all of these articles, videos, and everything, they could have asked around. Like obviously your name is connected. It's just like you guys said, like you had a tweet, you deleted it. That tweet still technically exists in archives, right? So like
It's
Yeah.
in the Library of
people,
Congress.
people who wanted to know
Technically.
could have found out, and they could have asked
You've
around.
only had what, one person reach out, Nitro,
Yeah.
like directly to you and be like, "Hey."
Yeah, I've had one journalist, I guess, reach out and ask questions.
Journalist, I guess.
It boils down to this one journalist not talking to other journalists, because being in this industry, journalists talk. Like, it's not like
Yeah.
they're like sitting in little ponds, not to quote the game too hard, but it's not like they're truly sitting in like their own little ponds for too long, keeping their own information. Like, they talk and they share to like, to get to not only to like share information, but to also get information from them. It's intel sharing. So
Okay. So to the point you're making, what then? Assuming that they do talk and they are capable of doing research and they're not as stupid as we might think, then what is your conclusion?
my conclusion is they was getting money off of
I was gonna
exactly.
say you gotta follow the dough.
They
I don't
know
even think
exactly
they believed it.
what
I
they're
don't even
doing.
think they believed it, but they knew. It's gotten to the point there are people out there that want a new Metal Gear game on a 10-year-old engine, Fox engine. Like they're adamant about it.
They wanna write on Microsoft Office 2010.
Yeah, they don't care how they have to get it, and these journalists, and not to talk bad on journalists. I get you guys got to make money.
No, there are plenty of good ones out there.
There's awesome good ones.
But that's not
out
what
there.
we're dealing with.
But we're dealing with people who knew where the money was, and they went to where the money resided, and they wrote their articles. And
Well, yeah, and they're just like, they're incomplete articles because they're just like, who's this Tom Olsen guy? We don't know. And it's like, well, great. Then
don't report what you don't know.
Yeah.
And to report that, like, oh, it's looking like it means a reboot, or
And
I don't know, it's just a little presumptuous.
It's so ironic that it happened to Nitroid, because Nitroid is he's the ultimate person that I know that's like, you can't believe things at face value. You can't just read a headline. You got to look into the source.
Yeah, something's presented to
who's
you.
your source? Dude, trust me. It was like a Twilight episode directly like attacking him.
And then David Hayter just had his interview a couple days ago.
Oh yeah, that just
took out his phone unprovoked. Just chose violence that day. Took out his phone. It's like, oh yeah,
chose violence.
he's like, oh yeah, I got a text, a personal text on my phone from somebody reputable saying that the things happening. You could hear my sigh from space.
Oh, that's what that was. Okay,
and you can speculate that it's possible his insider source might have heard the Tom Olsen thing.
Yeah. It's for sure.
Well, that was the thing. He was talking on the Dan Allen Gaming YouTube channel, and they were kind of talking about, all of a sudden, Dan just all of a sudden just goes, "So, what do you think about the reboot?" And he was like, and David was kind of like, "Huh?" And that's when he was like, "Well, do you mean the tweet?" He was like, "Do you mean the tweet?" And he was like, and David was kind of like, "Wait, what tweet?" And he was like, "I was kind of talking about something else that I heard from a buddy."
No, because it's all connected. Because that's where I go back to. One journalist said one thing.
It's a game of telephone.
Yeah, it was literally
and
telephone.
Yeah, so that insider might have seen the tweet and gone back on that and then hit up David.
Knows?
So who knows?
I want to make a point is that as I've seen these articles, I've been retweeting them with Real Housewives of Atlanta.
I've been retweeting every single one you've been putting out.
The shit has levels, okay? Because a big part of Real Housewives of Atlanta is
the lies. There you go, this bitch. I'm telling you.
But yeah, no, it's like what happened in that situation was Phaedra told Portia one thing, and then Portia presented it on the TV show as fact without telling anybody that Phaedra did it, and it became like this big old game of telephone.
Oh yeah,
where it became like illegal. It almost became like legal. Which hopefully, Tom Olsen's not going to become legal. But the point is...
But you were literally that close. No, you laugh, but you were literally that close.
The point is, Nitroid tricked David Hayter.
How's it feel? You got him. You got David Hayter.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Played like a damn fiddle.
You better hope you don't hear this, because he's going to block you.
I didn't get young, though. That was the real goal.
Yeah.
Oh, it would have been perfect because you did it after he tweeted it out. But Christopher Randolph also tweeted out, like, this was my favorite part of the series. And then in parentheses, he puts so far. And if you had your account when he tweeted that out, it would have been over for you.
It would have been ogre.
Geez,
ogre.
And none of this was intentional. None of it.
What's next?
I don't know what to do about this. But
dude, this shit is fucking like metal though. I love
That
it.
it was a ride. What you've given us so far was a ride. I cannot believe I lived this in real time.
Nitroid, you got me down to like I always felt like shit, like blogs were like dumb. And that's another actually that's another theme in Real Housewives is that the bloggers, that's the thing.
How do you
that's it.
how do you
That's-
think I
that's it.
feel as a Navy housewife that has to deal with like bored other officer housewives that like all they do is like make baby blogs?
I guess that's another pedal pyramid schemes.
Pyramid schemes.
We were talking about this today. We were talking about,
Big
if
Boss's
Big
cult.
Boss. Yeah, so Big Boss is essentially a cult.
It is, and I
You
would
know,
love to.
Outer Heaven
I don't
is
know
a
if you
cult.
guys seen my like multi-thread story on that, but
yeah, I did.
oh my god, I went in. I get so tired when people like have the audacity to DM me, be like, "What did Big Boss do?" Like, well, sit down, son.
What the
A
fuck did
lot.
he not do?
What didn't he
And
do?
it kills me because like, okay, I'm I stand for Solid Snake, for
a good
a
guy.
number of reasons thematically because he's a good guy. But, the whole cultish aspect. First of all, I've loved researching about cults.
Me too.
But the whole cultish aspect is why I love Big Boss, is how he evolved from this like cult of personality to like a literal fucking death cult.
Yeah, he
Murder
really,
cult.
I think the term is doomsday cult because it's like he did. I think my favorite revelation of that was like it literally stems from the beginning of the boss, where obviously nobody has control of the boss, right? Like boss is the boss, she's the boss. But when it comes to John, Naked Snake, John, at the time, he thought he had control over her emotions. So when she dipped on him, which she went to space, like, but he didn't know, right? But because in his mind, she dipped on him. So he lost. And that means like he lost.
Right, it's a loss of control.
Yeah,
and
the
it's
control was
traumatizing.
gone. And so
And that what happens to people? Like what type of thing happens to cult leaders generally?
they go
Loss of
off-
control, abandonment.
Everything has to go. And so that's when like it's probably one of the most quoted lines of Metal Gear Solid 3. When Boss shows up, he's like, it's been like 8 years, 15 days, whatever, like, that line, there's literally him like trying to like, where the hell were you? Like you left me,
and you
blah,
can
blah,
read
blah.
that line one of two ways. Like there's the group of fans who are going to read that line like, whoa, Big Boss has got this awesome memory because he's such a good soldier. And
He's
the other
insane.
ones are like,
No.
he's insane. Yeah.
He's literally insane and was like begging for that control back. And so he gaslit her immediately. It didn't work, but he gaslit her immediately like, this is how long you left me. This is how I felt about it. Is that why you left me? And then there's a line a lot of people will ghost over because the codex and the cutscenes are long. And so there's a line that the boss says that's like, but you were looking for a reason to fight. Where the boss literally fights for like what she's told to do. She doesn't go out and fight. She does what she's told. And that's why she's a legend, because when she's told to do something, not only does she do it, but she sets the standard. But then there's John, who literally fights. Like I made the joke where it's like, this man would fight you over a BLT and it's going to end with you opening a GoFundMe because he's going to shoot you. Like, he doesn't care. He will find a reason to throw hands. And that's just not how the boss operates. And so, call it luck that John got this opportunity to develop CQC with the boss. But after that, she had to go and do her other mission, which was go to space. And John couldn't handle that. So he lost control. She comes back for Virtuous mission. And immediately, I'm talking out the gate, gaslights her. Like, where were you? Because he needed that control back. It was almost like pathologic. And so, and it gets worse and worse up until Peace Walker, when Peace Walker walks into the ocean, when, some Metal Gear bullshit happens and the AI, she decided to sacrifice herself because she's so awesome. And then the boss just Big Boss just snaps. Just like, what the fuck? She's literally a soldier. She's the greatest soldier ever. She literally pretty much raised me and she abandoned me. And this is an AI. It's not really the boss. It's literally a tube. and
But it's still losing control.
Yeah, that was the last part of the boss that he lost control of, and then the child soldiers happened. Like, it's just like one after the other. It was like one after the other. It was horrible. Like, and that was probably one of the best ending cutscenes. Like, I call them like the phone call cutscenes, like right after the game ends, and it's like the phone call cutscene. But it's the one where you finish the second part of the game, and Big Boss is talking to his men. And he's like, we're going to be revolutionaries. Some days we're going to be terrorists. This is hell. This is heaven and hell. It's outer heaven. And then
some Jim Jones shit right there.
It was
Sorry,
immediate.
I keep like...
No, it's true, because it was immediate.
Would y'all like some Kool-Aid?
They drank it.
It's Powerade. It's Powerade, god damn it.
So it's what they said about Jim Jones, is when the representative came, he couldn't play God anymore. Because Jonestown was supposed to be like this communist, like, haven. But the reality...
Right,
the reality of Jonestown was... whatever Jim Jones says.
He was very charismatic, but at the end of the day, he used that to, he
used that to
take care of his own psychosis.
He was living in like this lavish of what he could get, like, build for himself or have built for himself. He was living in like the most lavish house in Jonestown, eating these extravagant meals. Everybody else was like starving. It's just like, what...
He could walk up to people and straight abuse them and beat them, and they would smile and think of it as like a baptism.
And you saw that. You saw
where have we heard that before? Right,
harder, boss. Like, please, it's everywhere.
And the whole thing about them like moving to like Mother Base and having their own nation.
It's literally
having a day where soldiers will be like completely needed, and they'll have that like independent power. Yeah.
Where it's the same in Jonestown, where everyone's needed on the land. Like, every single person has a place on the land, where in Outer Heaven, every single soldier has a place on the battlefield. Like, we'll make sure that you're taken care of. And then it gets into, like, actual Outer Heaven, Operation N313, when Snake goes in. We'll get into that in a bit, because obviously that was Venom, right? And then you got Big Boss, who literally singled out David. It's not Solid Snake. Singled out David and brainwashed him himself. Nobody talks about this. Everyone's like, well, yeah, Big Boss personally trained David with CQC. You think that's all he was doing? No, he was literally like remapping David to do what he needed him to do. And he also sacrificed Venom, like, when it got too far. This is where I would say, like, I'm not asking for a remake, but a remake of the MSX games would be great with the retcons that have already happened in the games that are out now. Just to see like how they would handle Big Boss literally cutting Venom off.
Yeah, because you could go one of two ways with it. Either it was, he intended Solid Snake to win, or he intended Solid Snake to lose, and both are interesting paths.
And that would be so great if they never explained it, because then, like, it would be of like what Big Boss truly wanted. Because then, well, how do I go about that? Days, keep talking, because I gotta think about that.
Well, I was gonna say, that's why I'm a fan of the very controversial truth tape scene. And that's because it feels... I kind of wish I could play that. Because it does feel like he's looking at the mirror, and then he punches it, and then it goes to intrude.
Yeah, so before then, like, when Big Boss is talking, like, do you remember who you are, blah, blah, blah. He's like... He literally is like... When you look at it literally, yeah, I used you. Sorry, I cheated death, but I needed to get the hell out of there. By the way, you're the only motherfucker on this base I ever respected, and I technically see you as my equal. What do you think that's gonna do to a soldier that literally idolizes Big Boss? Like, he's gonna fucking die for him.
Right.
He just put this medic above Ocelot and Kaz. Like, he's gonna die for him.
I was gonna say, and that happens a lot in cults. They always have that sort of right-hand man.
Yeah.
That has been the most devoted. That happened in Waco. That dude, David Koresh's dude, like, stood by him.
David Koresh and the Rajneesh, the Rajneesh cult, and that was in like the West here. It was bad. Like, what was it? Those couple rich people, like, they were celebrities, and they came in and they pushed the one EXO out.
Oh, it's
and the EXO like went off the rails.
Yeah, they always try to find exceptional people. S ranks, flaming buffaloes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And to attract other people to the group, the concept. And this is, I know people are like, holy shit, where did this days come from? But this is what happens when you put two ladies in their mid to late 20s together. They talk about true crime and cults.
Who's done like hours and hours of true crime cult study.
We're gonna talk about serial killers. And,
we can get into that.
It's true.
I mean, we can start talking about Liquid if you want to, but like, no. But what I was saying was, it's so true because the segue of, I would say both Waco and Jonestown culminated in N313 when things got too far. If we take it from the canon of what we have, where it's like, oh, well, you were just too damn good, Snake, and it was like, yeah, it was into Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake that the truth came out from Kyle, because he's Black Ninja then, right? Where he's like, yeah, they bombed the shit out of us and everyone died. And when in the first game, it was supposed to be like this like self-destruct thing, but in reality, like NATO just bombed the fuck out of the compound, right? And Big Boss allowed it because he was fleeing America at the same time, but at that moment he still had control because he could tell everybody to get the hell off of the compound, but he allowed everyone to die.
Tying his loose ends.
Yeah, he's like, I don't. Other than like a certain enough, because there was like reports of like the older Outer Heaven people being in Zanzibar, but the majority of them died. Like the 99% of them died. The people that did survive were taken out and experimented on, like Kyle Schneider. And then when they were no longer of use to whoever took them in, Big Boss took them back and re-brainwashed them. And it was just hell on earth. Hell on earth in Outer Heaven. And like a lot of people will be like, well, Big Boss did what he had to do. And to that I say, there ain't nothing you gotta do that warrants child soldiers. that was tough to get through. And it's like an MSX game.
That was when he crossed the line.
Right. Oh my god, no one talks about Chico enough. No one.
That poor kid.
That poor damn kid.
Those ankles. Ugh.
Oh, don't get me started. That's when I remember like playing Ground Zeroes for the first time and seeing his ankles. I was like, yo.
Holy shit. This is getting dark. I was like,
oh, Kojima snapped. Like, okay, so we're finally getting into that. What was it? The Red Band trailer. It makes me cry thinking about the Red Band trailer. That one scene with the POW with the bag over his head. And, they're abusing the shit out of that POW. And they make him walk and they shoot him. And I was like, oh, he's really going to do it to us. And then you never see it.
So I've got my own interpretation of this. But what did you make of the headphone plug in his chest?
I thought that was just straight up torture. I thought that was just, you're in an undesignated prison camp that is literally not even seen on maps. They can get away. There's no Geneva Convention. You can get away with whatever you want there.
There is no Geneva Convention.
Yeah. You know what I mean, though? Like, you can get away with whatever you want. They did atrocities. And as someone who has researched a lot of atrocities, like, they could have done worse. They did do a lot of bad stuff, but...
It's just in that specific instance, it seems self-inflicted.
It does. I feel like they were trying to... I feel like it was also like a psychological thing. Like, this is the one thing you carried into OKB. And so we're going to let you keep it. But you're going to really keep it. That was tough. Like, a lot of stuff that happened to those kids. It was really, really tough. I remember the scene with Paz where they had to take the bomb out of the womb.
Yeah, that's hard to watch.
Oh, I actually had to turn my head. Yeah, I had to turn my head. That was bad. Oh, I can't listen to the tapes anymore either. You know the ones.
Rough.
Yep.
Did we want to talk about the Patreon?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Every time I stream, somebody's like, oh, you guys need to give a Patreon. And I'm like, we're working on it, man. It's coming out soon. Yeah. Trademark.
They've been working on it for like 3 weeks.
I'm going to hop on it.
Yeah, I mean, we got some goals with it. We're going to start doing some more streaming and stuff and have some bonus episodes for Patreon and do some more of those like burst transmission type things,
Yeah, Shaine's going to do it. Yeah, she's fucking cool.
I try. I do my best. I think I'm pretty funny on Twitter.
I think we're going to do some like live sit-ins for some of the recordings. So like for certain tiers and stuff, you'll be able to listen in live and hear like the unedited version before we put the episode out. So that'll be fun.
That sounds sounds awesome, actually. You know I'm gonna jump in on it.
Yeah, there's gonna be some extras like, wallpaper versions of all the images that we made for the podcasts without logos and lossless audio. The typical
Oh
stuff.
yeah, of course. That sounds actually really fucking fun.
All the Tom Olsen footage.
Oh, yeah,
that,
right.
captured.
Unedited
going around.
Tom
Yeah,
Olsen
detailed documentation on how to do what Tom Olsen did.
Now Tom Olsen's gonna have an OnlyFans.
Oh my god!
Tom Olsen starts.
OnlyFans.
We'll have a link for the Patreon in the description. So if you want to chip out, we've got 3 levels. I think we've got the $5, the $10, and the $20.
That sounds right.
You know me, I'm going for that $20 bit.
Yeah, baby.
I'm gonna
I
support.
feel so dirty.
Oh, don't. I'm putting bread on your table.
And also, I have like a more regular stream schedule. I do a lot of Resident Evil, but I also am trying to do a lot of Metal Gear, and I'm trying to get these two, and probably Shaine while I'm at it.
What's up?
To hop on the stream. I'm gonna try to do something for Big Shell Day.
Oh.
So
Yeah, you've been streaming a lot.
yeah,
killing
dude. OHN. Shout out to 3Dog and
Shout out.
Shout out. They're about to do a huge ass marathon.
they are, and it's great. But also, fuck them for rating me with like 900. What was it? Like 900 and some viewers.
They
Yeah,
rated
while I
you
was
insane.
doing the
They rated shit out
Ocelot
of you.
torture.
Yeah.
And you
Okay.
made
And
me a
somebody-
mod for it.
Yeah, I did. Dude, DRK was like, okay, they're like, I'm doing the Jeep section. They're coming in 10 minutes. And I was like, okay,
Get
Nitro,
ready.
here's your chance. And then like my 2 other mods, Stealth, who, he picked a perfect name for himself, and Sworn, they like were gone. I didn't know where they went. And then
They were
Sworn
smart.
came back.
They got out.
They were smart. Yeah, they were.
Smoke break.
And then Sworn got back, and he's like, where'd all these people come from?
You're like
And
screaming.
yeah, but then it was a good thing because they convinced me to kill Meryl
Oh my
for
god! I think
Nitroid
that's the
for
funniest
his
thing.
birthday.
I cannot wait for the marathon because like they always have that incentive. Like, do we kill or do we save? And it's like the biggest fucking shit show I've ever seen in my life. It's so funny. It's so fun to watch.
There's a reason. Oh yeah, I was expecting Meryl to die on DRK's stream, and then she actually lived. Holy shit!
So what's your bets?
and then
what's your
somebody gave me 100 bits to kill her on my stream, and I guess I did it.
Hey,
and somebody
money's money.
said it was Nitroid's birthday that week, and I said, here's what my birthday gift to you, Nitroid, is. I'm going to make MGS4 non-canon.
Greatest
it.
present I could ask for.
MGS4 is no more.
We love you, dude.
How did?
So yeah, you're over on twitch.tv/days ahead.
Yep, I have it in my Twitter bio too. So
Cool. Yeah, if people want to check those streams out.
And Shaine, if people want to catch up with you, where should they go?
You will always find me on my Twitter at Shaine Hinnant. I literally only operate on Twitter. I am working on a novel right now, and it's fantasy novel that I'm trying to work on. That's going to be a duology. It's slow going, but look out for that when I start pitching that.
hell yeah.
But yeah, right now I'm on Twitter and I do a lot of shit posting and jokes, but a lot of times I will do a lot of dissertations and breakdowns of plots in Metal Gear, and I like to think that I'm a pretty stable, well-rounded, fun, sexy Metal Gear historian. I like Metal Gear.
It's definitely a fun follow for sure. It's a good time.
Yeah, you won't regret
yes.
it.
Check you out.
You will regret it.
Sweet. We'll have you linked down in the description. We'll have and the Patreon is at patreon.com/Kojima Freak. That's FREQ.
Everyone must subscribe.
And yeah, Shaine, thank you so much for coming on. That was fun.
Thank you so much for having me. I was so nervous because I've never done something like this before. This was so fun. I laughed a lot. I'm gonna go to bed with a smile on my face. And you guys have so again, I took a 2-month break on the translation, and then when you guys came to hey, can we have you on? I immediately got inspired to translate again. So I'm gonna have more chapters out soon. Should have said that when I was plugging my stuff. I also translate the novels. But yeah, I will have more chapters out soon. So you guys inspired me to work on it again. So thank you so much. After I'm done with Metal Gear Solid 5, I'll be working on the Metal Gear Solid 1 Substance novel.
Nice.
Ooh, yeah, I wanted to check those out. I wish they would have translated those, but yep, guess you're doing it, so sweet.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
We look forward to it.
Thank you so much.